What is up, guys? I'm Joshua Weissman, and today we're gonna talk about the greatest hamburger that ever lived. And we're gonna make it, and I'm gonna show you how. I figured since my last video was all about creating the most sensuous French fry ever, it would only be right to do the same thing to its significant other, the beautiful hamburger. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but I feel like a lot of places just don't emphasize the quality of each and every single ingredient and component that goes into the burger. Therefore, whenever you go to a place, it's like they're always lacking in some department, whether it be the meat, the bun, or any of the toppings, the pickles, the lettuce, whatever. There's almost always one thing that's a Debbie Downer for me, and so I want to take the time to give it the TLC, the tender love and care that the burger truly deserves in its meaty heart. In other words, we're gonna treat this burger like it's our child, just like I do with my bread babies, like in this Instagram story. Love like that. Now, let's go.
Now, it wouldn't be an ultimate hamburger if you weren't making your own brioche buns. I'm just saying, to make that, you're gonna need about 3 cups of bread flour and a 1/4 cup of all-purpose. Next, you're gonna need 2.5 teaspoons of sugar and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Hesitate a little bit because you forgot what the recipe was, which, by the way, that was 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. Next, turn your mixer on and just kind of get those dry ingredients incorporated before we add the wet. Now you're gonna add a mixture of 1 cup of warm water and 3 tablespoons of warm milk. Doesn't really matter what kind of milk it is. Now, this part is optional, but I added a little bit of my sourdough starter just to kind of kick things up a notch. Next, you're gonna add 1 whole egg. And don't forget to intermittently scrape the bowl just a little bit. Now, with the mixer running on medium-low, you're gonna add about 3 tablespoons of softened butter. And make sure that you're adding this 1 spoonful at a time. And just wait until it gets incorporated and then add it again. And then repeat that process until all of your butter is used. Now, just let that bad boy run on medium speed for 10 minutes. That's right, 10 whole minutes. Look at that B-roll footage, my God. Now, once the dough has been thoroughly mixed, you're gonna transfer it to a large bowl, really weirdly like that. Cover it with plastic wrap. Let it rise at room temperature for 1 to 3 hours. Now, once it's risen, you're gonna divide the dough into 8 equal portions and shape them into a ball. As you can see here, once you've shaped all of them, cover them. Do not cover them with plastic wrap like I did. Dear God, don't do that. Use a damp dish towel. Now, that aside, we're gonna go ahead and thinly slice some cucumber. Look at, oh my God, that B-roll footage is just too damn good. Now, in a large pot, we're gonna go ahead and add about 2 cups of white vinegar, about a 1/4 cup of rice vinegar, and 2 really heaping tablespoons of white sugar. Bring that up to a boil and give it a little quick whisk. Now, the moment that it comes up to a boil, you're gonna go ahead and pour that directly over your sliced cucumbers. Now, in here, you can add any aromatics you want, but I'm just gonna leave it plain. I added a little bit of thyme, actually. Cover that with plastic and press the plastic down so it adheres to the hot liquid below. That just creates an airtight seal so everything gets pickled. Now, for our mayo, we're gonna add 2 egg yolks, about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a good helpful pinch of salt, and a squeeze of lemon juice. Whisk that up. Now, here comes the important part. If you've never made mayo by hand, you're gonna need to constantly whisk and slowly pour in a stream of oil. I'm gonna speed up the clip here. And as you can see, I'm slowly adding the oil bit by bit. I started with little droplets, and then I started doing a steady stream while constantly whisking until it was the correct consistency. Remember that you're constantly whisking. And make sure that the oil is being added slowly. Now, we're gonna go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of ketchup. Yeah, I know, we're screwing over a mayo that we just made. A whole clove of garlic, fresh, grated over the top. Some onion flakes, just about a teaspoon. And then a fresh crack of black pepper. And some Frank's Red Hot, just for good measure. Whisk it up. And here is why you don't use plastic wrap, because the plastic wrap stuck to the dough. Do not use plastic wrap. Anyway, we're gonna brush these crappy buns with egg wash, season them with a little bit of salt and a little bit of black sesame seed, and put them in the oven at 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. Now, while that is baking, I'm gonna go ahead and get our bacon cooking because, let's be honest, a burger without bacon is not a burger at all. So we're gonna keep that over medium heat and constantly turn them until they are to our liking. If you like them crispy, great. If you like them floppy, more power to you. Once they're done being cooked, transfer them to a paper towel lined plate. And due to the power of movie magic, the buns are done and sliced in half. Now we're gonna put it in a pan on medium heat with some butter in there and toast it nicely. I like to add a little bit of something like a grate on top just to weigh it down and let it toast until they're nice and golden. It should take about 1 to 3 minutes. I might note that toasting your bun for a burger is extremely important, so make sure that you do that. Do not skip that part. Next, we're gonna slice this beautiful tomato into, I would say, about half-inch slices. I like them thick. You can do 1/4 of an inch if you prefer. Now we're gonna season our ground beef with salt and pepper. Do it pretty generously. You're gonna need quite a bit of salt, and we're gonna season them again, so just be cognizant of that. Mix it up. Once that's thoroughly mixed, you're going to form these into nice little pucks. Make sure that they're evenly sized. Give them a little slap. In fact, listen to this. Alright, that's enough of that. Here are our finished patties. They should look like that. Now season them with salt and pepper pretty generously, just like you would a steak. So important. Do not skip. And add it to a pan that's on medium-high, rip-roaring hot, and sear it 2 to 3 minutes on both sides. Now once you've seared it, go ahead and add your cheese and do this little trick where you pour some water in the bottom of the hot pan and cover it quickly with foil. Don't burn yourself, because that steam will mess you up. Now let that cook for 1 to 3 minutes depending on how you like your burger cooked. I like my burger medium rare, so I let it sit in there for about 1.5 minutes. If you want it more cooked, leave it in there. The longer you leave it in there, the more cooked it's gonna get. Now, as you can tell from my excited hands, it is time to build our burger. So first we're gonna add our burger sauce and spread a nice healthy amount of that on the bottom of the bun. Make sure you spread that out evenly. And then next we're gonna add our lettuce. I chose iceberg lettuce, and then we're going to add our tomatoes, but make sure that you season your tomatoes with salt, something that nobody ever does, but really we need to start doing it. Go ahead and add your seasoned tomatoes to the burger. And next is the piece de resistance, the actual burger patty, which looks pretty damn good already. Now add your bacon pieces and your thinly sliced red onion if you're into that. Add more burger sauce on the top bun, and then add your pickles that you made and top it. Oh my god, here it is. Are you ready for this? Now, you didn't think that I wouldn't show a cross section of this beautiful thing, would you? Because
Alright guys, that is it for this episode. All in all, effort versus result. Kind of worth it, kind of not worth it. I don't know how I feel yet. It was really good. The burger was really good. But I'm still physically sweating from all of the effort.